Welcome to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. We've got a strategy that's been submitted by Randall. It's called Welcome to the Neighborhood. So Randall sent this strategy in. He's calling it Welcome to the Neighborhood. And based on the description of what he sent me, we're betting 12 numbers. And we're going to be betting those 12 numbers on a Fibonacci sequence here. The Fibonacci system it's a 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89. Now those are a number of units per bet. Okay, so what he's got going on is the way he described it is if the wheel lands on 8, we're betting 12 numbers. It's actually 11 numbers around that 8. Okay, so from what I can tell, I'm going to put the graphic up right here real quick and show you. He sent me a sheet that's got every number listed on it and what the bets should be. It's kind of where to place your bets, I guess. Now, it's going to be difficult for me to show this the entire time, but kind of get a quick look at it real quick. If you look, you'll see, if it lands on 0, he gives what numbers to bet. If it lands on 9, it tells you what numbers to bet. 18 tells you what numbers to bet. 23, it tells you what numbers to bet. Okay, it makes it a little easier than having to stare at the wheel, but based on what he's got going on here, when I say 8 is our number, I find 8 on the wheel, and I go 5 numbers to the left, and I go 6 numbers to the right, and that's a total of 12 numbers. And so that's what he's wanting us to bet on it. He says, let's see what it says here. He says, I usually never get past the 5-unit bet. Okay, so if we're using $2 units for this strategy, I'm going to have a $500 buy-in. But he says he never really goes over a 5-unit bet while playing this system because he's betting 12 numbers. Now, if it was me, I think we tried something like this before to where if it lands on 8, then I find those 12 numbers or whatever, right? And we just kind of ride those numbers and just kind of hope something happens, right? So essentially, our bets are going to be, if it lands on 8, we're betting 12 numbers around the 8. And then if it misses, we bet 12 numbers again, just single bet, so 1 unit each. And then that does it twice. Then we go up to 2 units each. And then after that, it goes to 3 units each, 5 units each, 8 units each, 13 units each. Okay, I've run this strategy out 5 times already. And let's see, I went 9 spins. Now my goal is $100 walk away. So if I get a profit of $100, I decide, well, it's probably time to walk away. So let's see, 5 times I've played this strategy, I've left with $130, $148, $192, $168, and $144. So in 9 spins, 10, 4, and 7. So that's what it took. And the largest bet I had to make was 8 chips. I had to go up to 8 chips one time in those 5 sessions. I went 5 chips twice, and then let's see, 2 chips on another session. And 1 chip was all it took on the 4 spins to get $100 profit. So, hey, it's the luck of the wheel for sure. So let's spin it out. Let's see what happens. Let me get set up here. Hopefully we can make this work for the video here. All right, so we have $500. Remember, cash on the table, your CPAS card, they'll scan it. That's how you get your points. All right, so $500 toward the dealer. Let's see, I've got 200, another 200, so there's 400. Now we're going to go ahead and just get 1 black chip for 500. Now we have $500 total. And let's establish our first number here. And of course, I got to keep this sheet here handy so I can know what to bet. It's going to take some time, so bear with me. I'm going to try to fast forward through as much as I can, because just placing the bet is going to take a minute, counting it all out, raking it all, and stuff like that. So I'll go as fast as I can, okay? All right, so 25 is our number. So based on his chart here, I'll put it up here and show you what the number should be. So it hits 25. So we're going to go 00, 1, 8, 10, 12, 13, 18, 19, 25, 27, 29, and 31. Okay, so those are 11 numbers surrounding that 25. So let's see what happens. All right, 16 was our number, so that's a loss. All right, so we rake it all. All right, so now we're going to bet again. We're only betting 12 units again. All right, so 16 is our number. So here we go. I'm going to put 16. All right, here's our numbers. 0, 2, 4, 6, 14, 16, 18, 21, 23, 31, 33, and 35. Okay, so that's 12 units out there again. All right, 14. All right, there's a winner right there. All right, so that pays 35 to 1. So there's 35 or 40 there. Now we take 5 off. All right, so there's our 35. All right, we're going to bring that back. Now we're resetting back to our first bet. It's a 12 units bet. So now we go 14. 14 is 0, 2, 4, 9, 14, 16, 23, 26, 28, 30, 33, and 35. All right, there we go. This is our first bet. All right, 30. All right, there we go. We hit it. All right, again, that pays 35 to 1. So there is 40 minus the 5. All right. Okay, so bring all that back to our rack here. All right, let's see where we're at with it real quick. All right, because our goal, our walkaway goal is $100. Okay, so we're sitting at right at $70 profit right now. All right, so we're going to reset again. So here we go. 30 was our number. So we're going to take 12 units again. And 30 is 0, 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 17, 20, 26, 28, 30, and 32. All right, there we go. All right, 00. It's a loss. All right, 12 units again. So now we're going up to 00. What's around it? 00, 1, 3, 8, 10, 12, 13, 24, 25, 27, 29, and 36. All right. And one thing I've noticed with this strategy is, you kind of want to hit it on the first one. The second one's okay. You'd kind of like to hit it on the third bet, to be honest. So when we get up to 2 units each, that would be the nice spot to hit. That's kind of the sweet spot, I think. All right, 27. Yeah, because when we hit, on the second single unit bet, it's only a 12 chip profit, so not terrible. All right, so there's 20 there. There's 40 minus the 5. That's 35. And we are still, so there's 80, there's 90, 94, so $96. That's where we're at. So now you've got to make the decision. Should we just go ahead and walk away? We are really close to $100. we're two chips shy. And that's one thing I've noticed with this strategy. I've done this a couple times where I've gotten to $96 and it's like, well, should I walk away? And I'm like, nope, I said $100. So we're going to go $100. We're going to shoot for the $100. All right, so 27 was our number. So here we go. All right, so we hit 19. That should get us over $100 profit. All right, there's 20 chips. There's 40 chips. I'm gonna take 5 off, makes it 35. Bring that back to our rack. Okay, so there we go. So that's, let's see, that's 6 spins of the Welcome to the Neighborhood strategy that Randall sent us. There's our original $500 here for the strategy, what we bought in for. And we have a profit of $120, $30, $40, $144 profit in 6 spins. Okay? All right, so that is the Welcome to the Neighborhood strategy sent in by Randall. And it's 12 numbers using the Fibonacci sequence for the strategy. Of course, most of us have seen like a Fibonacci dozen strategy. It's very similar, you know, exactly the same thing. But the thing is, what Randall has decided to do is let's focus on a block on the wheel. Okay, so, you know, you got those 12 numbers, you're covering 1/3 of the wheel. So I like the coverage with the strategy, especially in blocks. I'm one, I like to see blocks of numbers covered, you know, because it's going to cycle back around to that particular block. So you could just pick a block of 12 numbers and just run those 12 numbers if you wanted to. But what Randall has done, especially with the sheet that he sent, it's kind of some information to kind of help you place the bets a little quicker. Instead of having to stare at the wheel and count and all that stuff. It makes it a little easier to figure out what numbers you should bet. Okay, so this is 6 times I've run through this strategy, and every time I've met my walkaway goal of plus over $100. All right, so let's see. So what's the rankings for this strategy? Y'all tell me in the comments what you think the rankings should be. Just kind of let me know. What do you think the comp value is, the profitability, and the ease of setup is? Okay, so as far as what I'm thinking for comp value, you're at $24. You know, you could play this with $5 units, and that would be a $60 average, but you better have you a pretty big bankroll for a $5 chips with this strategy, because, you know, if you get up to 8 numbers or something like that, you better have a pile of money sitting on the table with you when you start running this strategy. But anyway, so at the $2 chips, $24, and then this 24. What I say it was. So the betting sequence on this would be $24, $24, $48, $72, $120, $192, $312, $504, and $816. That's all the way up to 34 chips. And like I said, the most I got up to was 8 chips every time I've run it, which is a total of $480 that you'd have to have, which is why I bought in for $500. So you have to have a walk away with this one. You can't just continuously just pour the money to it. But, you know, hey, that's up to you. Whatever you want to do with it. But I've gotten up to 8 chips just on one of the 6 times I've played it. But, you know, 5 chips a couple of times. So anyway, a $500 buy-in should work for this strategy, and just see how it goes. But anyways, the comp value on it, $24, if it catches it at that. I really wouldn't play this for comps. So I'd probably give this one a 3. It can be a good comp value because, you know, you do have $24 out there, and they could come by and catch it when it's at, you know, $48 or $72, which would help your comp value, but it's not guaranteed. So comp value is a 3. Profitability on this strategy, based on the 6 times I've run the strategy, it has been profitable. It has gotten me to my goal of my walkaway of $100. So it can be profitable, but you've got to have a bankroll that can support long enough to get to that profit. It's more profitable the longer it misses, obviously. Profitability, I want to give this one I'm going to say 4. I'm going to give it a 4 because the 6 sessions I've ran it, I was able to get into profit, and I wasn't able to really get myself in too much trouble with my bankroll, with my $500 bankroll. So, you know, if it would miss one more time, then yeah, it might make me think a little different on it. But it seemed to hold up. So profitability is going to be a 4. Now, when it comes to ease of setup, this is one, you've got to be proficient at placing chips. I don't see a first timer walking up, and even with this piece of paper here, someone that's not accustomed to playing at the table with real chips, this isn't one for them. Okay, this is a little complicated for the first time roulette player. So as far as ease of setup goes, I'm going to have to give this one a 1. It's not easy to set up. You've really got to know where the numbers are, and especially when you get into the 2 chips and 3 chips and 5 chips each, because you don't have that much time at the table to place your bets. You may have a minute to a minute and a half to place all these bets, and for someone that doesn't work with chips that much, this could be a little complicated to get it all set out before the ball's spinning and they wave it off. Okay, so ease of setup is going to be a 1. A skilled player can do this, but a first timer couldn't do this. So anyway, so there it is. I hope y'all agree with the ratings that I gave the strategy. I like the strategy. I like the coverage. I kind of like the chase of the strategy to a certain extent, especially with the moving it around. You know, because we could just set it up and just play the exact same 12 numbers every single time, but after a while that gets kind of boring, placing the same bets every single time as a flat bet. It's kind of a flat bet, but we are moving it around and kind of chasing the ball is what we're doing. So anyway, so there it is. So that is the Welcome to the Neighborhood strategy sent in by Randall. And Randall, I appreciate you sending it in. And if you have a strategy that anybody would like me to run, just email it to me at roulettecruising@gmail.com. I try to run them out, 20 spins, 30 spins, whatever. We're looking for comp strategies. We're looking for a $300 to $400 buy-in normally. But this one here, we was willing to go up to $500 because it does have good coverage. So anyway, so make sure you like this video. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. And until next time, happy cruising. We'll see you. Bye.